Hi everyone, Stacy from Dies to Die For and ShopScrapbook101.com. Today we'll be showing you how to use wafer thin metal dies. Okay, for you people who have never used a metal cutting die or don't even know what one is, these are wafer thin metal cutting dies. You take this die, put a piece of paper on it, and run it through a machine, and then you get a shape cut out. Let's go through. Our dies are all held together. That way we don't have to put adhesive on them in the package because people have a hard time getting them off. So let's go through how to take our dies apart first, because this confuses people sometimes. So our dies are always held together at 2 points. So you can just take the corner on each side and twist it back and forth until it pops apart like this. Show you this one. You just keep twisting that back and forth. It will pop apart just like that. Sometimes there's a little sharp edge left on it. You can take a pair of wire cutters and just snip that off. And then you can even take sandpaper, just like that. Take sandpaper and sand it down if you'd like so you don't get cut, because those edges do get sharp. Okay, that's how to take our dies apart. Do I take all of my dies apart? No, I don't. Some dies like this set, I'll keep this set together. When I run this through the machine, it makes a frame. I'll show you that in just a little bit. But I keep this set together so I can have the frames. This set also, I keep it together so I can just make a frame. If you were to take these pieces out, it would make a solid mat. So I always have one set of my dies that I keep together to make frames, one set that I take apart to make mats. Most people can't do that. If you can't, once you take your dies apart, you can take some tape if you want to make a frame. Put your paper on top of them and just tape them to your paper. Can't get that one to go. That's how you would make a frame out of those without keeping them together. Okay, now that we know how to take dies apart, and like something like this, I would keep this die together because there's nothing interfering with the cutting on any of the dies like there would be in this set. If you didn't take these pieces out of the center of this set, then you wouldn't get the screen for your tablet and your cell phone. So definitely a die like this you're going to want to take apart. One like this, you can leave it together or you can take it apart, whatever you prefer. I prefer to leave mine together just because there's so many small pieces and they would get lost easy. So something like this I keep together, something like that I take apart. This I would also take apart because these are meant to be card edge borders. So you can put them right on the edge of your card. If you have them together, you're going to cut out all three of them and you don't want to do that. So, all right, now that we know about taking them apart, let's show you how you actually use them to die cut. This is our dog tag border die. So for me, I just turn my paper upside down. I cut it exactly where I want it because this is one of the dies I also keep together. If I just want to cut one of these chains out, then I would cut right here and just make the paper cover those chains. Today I want to cut all the pieces though. So, should explain, this is a Sizzix Big Shot machine. There are many, many different machines that you can use our dies in. I use it in the Momenta Freestyle a lot. It's one of my favorite new machines. There's electronic die cutting machines where you just put it on there and push a button and it pulls it through, like the Gemini. I also have one of those. I have not mastered that yet, but someday we'll do a video on the different machine comparison. Today, we're using the Big Shot. And I have the platform here. If you can see, there's multiple dies that you can use in this machine. So you just stack the platforms for what die you're trying to use. And my customers use this a lot, so the edges are really worn out. If any of you are in the Sparta, Michigan area or Grand Rapids, Michigan, we do have a warehouse that you're welcome to come in. We have a crop room. We have classes and crops all the time. Okay. To use this, you put your clear mat on the bottom on this machine anyway. Some machines you don't need it. Then you put your die, your piece of paper, then you put another cutting mat that you're going to cut into on the top. This is the way I prefer on my machine. I know there's some people who do it the opposite way. They put their cutting mat on the bottom, put their paper down, their die, and then their top plate. That is mostly whatever you're comfortable doing. I like cutting up. I don't know why, just because that's how I started out and I don't want to change. Put that on there, then you roll it through. And then you get your cutouts just like this. And they're ready to use on any project. I'll show you this too. These tools, or any kind of pick tool like this, is going to be your best friend when you're die cutting. See my little dog tag stuck in there? Oh, okay, that wasn't a good example. We'll just pretend now. Pretend it's stuck in there. You flip it over and you push in that little hole and it pops out. And then those pick tools we sell in a set of 5. They're $9.99 on our website. That is probably one of the most needed tools, I feel, for die cutting. Okay, let's show you. This is a metal shim. I use a metal shim in my machine all the time. You put it under the bottom, put your bottom plate on top of it. The metal shim, I feel, just helps you get a better cut, and then any die that's hard to cut without it. Let's see if this one will cooperate with me today. Usually this one's a pretty difficult die to cut. And that one's going to prove me wrong today too. See, when you cut, all these little pieces should come out. Usually this die, if I don't have a shim behind it, these little, yeah, see, they're stuck a little. These little pieces on the inside will not cut all the way through. But if you take the metal shim and put it on there, and cut, you get a much cleaner cut, and all those little pieces that just got stuck will usually cut all the way through after that. See how easy they come out when you use the metal shim? And again, if I have pieces like that that don't come out, or don't come out when you pop them out, I use my metal pick and just push them out. These picks are nice too because they have a rough edge here. So if you have a bunch of stuff stuck, you can just rub it on there and they pop out. I don't have anything stuck, but all right. And dies that you can't get to work without a metal shim, it doesn't necessarily mean that there's anything wrong with them. It's just every machine has a different pressure point or a different amount of pressure applied to dies. Like the Cuttlebug, for instance, is a lower pressure machine. So in a Cuttlebug, with our dies, almost all the time you're going to need a metal shim or some form of shim under it, just because it is lower pressure. Okay. Now, I just want to show you something really quick about our shape dies. This is one of our rectangle dies, and you see it's a little thin. these dies are better if you cut the paper almost the same size as the die. And then put it on an angle, on a slight angle, to put it through your machine. If you don't do this, then sometimes it's fine, but other times it can warp a little bit and not give you a really straight rectangle. Cut it like that, and then you get a straight cut. Okay, that's how you use a die cutting machine and a die. Now let's show you really quick, because some of these pieces can get really tiny, like our Sending Dandelion Wishes words. Those are really tiny to try to lay down. So there's a few different options that you can use to get your die cuts to lay down. I do have these tape runners right here also. I wind up using these a lot, this dot one on the die cuts, because it doesn't web. Webbing means, let's see, where did I just put those? Webbing means when you put adhesive on like this piece, say. With this runner, you get the little webs. I don't know if you can see that. The little webs in there. So you would need to take a die pick tool and get those out before you can lay it down. Otherwise, they're going to show on your project. With this runner, there's no webbing. You can just put it straight down without cleaning anything up. I use these a lot when I make cards. If I'm doing something that I want, cards I normally give away to people and then they throw them away within a week. They're not meant to last. I do have some people who will keep my cards, so I try to use better adhesive on those cards, but these adhesives are fine if you don't expect your card to last more than, say, 6 months or 8 months. After 6 months or 8 months, the adhesive in these breaks down a little, and sometimes they fall off, sometimes they're fine, but if you're trying to do something permanent like a scrapbooking page, I wouldn't use these on a scrapbooking page. And my daughter keeps all the cards I make for her, so I don't use these on cards I make for her either. Another option, especially for some of the fine letters, is some kind of fine tip glue. This is a fine line, and you can also get this on our website. This makes it really easy to put a really fine point on letters and anything small. Then we also have the Xyron sticker maker. The problem with this one is it does leave webbing a little bit too, but you just put your piece in there, pull the little sticky part, and I don't like to waste adhesive, so when I'm using the sticker maker, I make sure I fill in every empty space I can with something. Rub it down a little. I don't think I said that. Pull it up. And you have adhesive automatically on the back of your die. Those are nice if you're doing a lot of the same thing and you want just adhesive on them fast. Then we have our sticky dots, and I haven't been using this product for long, but I really like it. We have a couple of different brands that we sell, and we have more coming in, and we have different sizes too. We have like 8.5 by 11 sheets. But this I have upside down. You just peel that little strip off, peel this back, and say you wanted to put this guy in here. Rub it down, Always use a sheet to rub it down too, otherwise your hands are gonna get stuck everywhere. Pull it up. And you're ready to stick it on your project. And the adhesive on this is really strong, so it sticks down really well. I haven't been using it long enough to tell you the long-term effects, but all of my photo squares I use in my albums are from iCraft, and I've had some in albums for, oh gosh, it has to be 10 years now, and they're still stuck just as well as they were the day I put them down. Okay, I think that's about all I need to tell you about how to use die cuts today. Oh, my son just reminded me, I also forgot. A lot of people always ask about the mats. We go through mats super fast here. So this mat right here, I've just started using today, so this is good. This mat we started using about a week ago. It's already all beat up and bent. A lot of people worry about their mats being bent. They always ask me, is it supposed to do that? Yes, they always do that. Usually the people who put their cut into mat on the bottom don't have as much of a problem with this as the people who put it on the top. Even if you put it through one way and the next time flip it over and put it through the other, they're still gonna warp like this. It's okay. I actually have gotten used to using them like this, and I find it easier to use them like this actually. But there are a few different tricks to get it to straighten out. You can put it through the dishwasher, and then the dishwasher takes all those little pieces of paper out of it too. Or you could put it in a pan with hot water, put something on top of it, and straighten it right back out, if that bothers you. For me personally, we have some mats that are almost a circle shape because we use them so much. So it doesn't bother me, but if it bothers you, then there are ways around that. Okay, that's all that we have for you today. If you have any questions on anything else regarding die cutting, feel free to put it in the comments, and I'll try to help you the best that I can or do another video. And don't forget to subscribe and like this video. And if you subscribe and want the notifications on other how-tos, then ring the bell.